Hello, Sagittarius. I hope your April is going great. Welcome to your monthly forecast. I'm going to first just say I know we're at the midpoint of this month, and this reading will help you navigate the next 4 to 6 weeks. It'll even take you into the next month a little bit. I'll be doing the May readings much earlier, and I'm going to change up the format a little bit more concise. That way, as soon as I wrap up all the April readings, I can get the May ones out in a nice, timely fashion. And then if you like that format, we may stick with it. So sometimes innovation comes in these periods of time, and I just appreciate your kindness. Let's take a check with Apollo here. He's just taking a nap, holding some space, looking adorable in the process. Why don't we get started first and foremost with the channeled messages for today? So as I was meditating on your sign and also recalling my dreams, the image that kept coming through was a cat. And in my dreams, I was visited by this beautiful black cat, had green eyes, and it kind of reminds me of, lo and behold, the cat that's right here at the bottom of the Queen of Wands. Black cat, green eyes. Queen of Wands is one of the best cards you can get because she is connected with ideation, innovation, inspiration. She's a boss. She can create abundance out of nothing. And I feel like in this period of time that you have what it takes. Whatever challenge is in front of you, you can land on your feet. We're focusing more on the cat, though, as I'm speaking of the channeled messages. So to me, cats represent the ability to, again, if any challenge is happening, they can land on their feet because cats often do that when they're falling. You think of a cat having 9 lives, so you may have had some challenges, but just like the 9 of Wands, you can come through this again, successful, stronger, wiser, and also just intuition. It's a very psychic symbol, so I would also connect it to High Priestess energy. You just need to listen to the instincts. Time and again in my life, there's been moments where I know what to do, but I don't always listen to myself. I'm getting better as I get older. And especially after I've practiced this for 10 years, I'm like, yeah, let's just do this. Why are we second guessing this approach? So I'd love to impart the same knowledge on you. Trust your instincts, trust your gut, even when it's inconvenient, even when you see something and you wish you could push it in another direction. That's the exact time that you really need to lean into that inner knowing. Okay, let's give the cards a shuffle and see where the cat, where the queen might be coming through, and what other sorts of energies are presenting themselves. All right, everyone, take a moment, close your eyes, let go of any sort of energy that you might be holding on to, any thoughts that might be bouncing around your head. Imagine, if you will, that you are sitting in a field of grass and the sun is directly overhead, shining down this beautiful beam of light on your body, almost like a spotlight. In this spotlight, you are safe and connected to Source, and let's now call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Very interesting in the environment. We have 2 cards. A decent amount of reversals, which we'll manage this month, but some really exciting things happening with you and the environment. So let's finish this up and then we'll get started. Your catalyst card this month is Isis. The catalyst helps you make necessary change. This card was reversed. So the necessary change is reclamation of magic and power. It says, call back your power and what is rightfully yours. So we could first look at this as like Empress energy, a chance where wherever you need to have better boundaries, to speak up, to push back, and to basically make sure that your voice, your vision, and your plan is being executed. Now, she's also the high priestess, if you look at mythology, and she's also connected to themes of death and rebirth because she was able to bring life to someone that had passed. So that energy of renewal comes through as well. So there might be something in your life that you can breathe new life into, resuscitate. This could be a project. This could be plans that you had put on the back burner, and now finally you're feeling like, I want to do this. Ultimately, she's saying, trust your power, trust your vision, and trust that you can do it, because that's what she is. High priestess, the death and rebirth card, and also, as I said, the empress, the ultimate queen energy. So you've got what it takes. There seems to be something that's holding you back. Hopefully I can help you with that. And the intuition that we got from the cat is definitely connected into Isis energy. All right, let's just scan the cards here and see how everything is aligning. So taking the first step might be the most challenging thing. I feel like you already have the idea. There's a little bit of release that needs to happen, some self-confidence that needs to be boosted, but a lot of really positive energy leading you towards the star. So this is a great month. The reversals are just kind of like pauses or pivots, and I'm going to help you through them, starting with the centermost card, which is Five of Cups. This is beautifully illustrated. What we can see here is someone that is looking at the blossoms that have fallen off the tree, but lo and behold, there are still two that are starting to open up. So I'm actually getting nostalgia from the way that this is illustrated, and we'll compare it with the traditional one in a moment, but there is a moment in time where it's okay to kind of look back and learn from the past. But if we consistently and even continually live through the lens of nostalgia, or even worse, like regret, we miss out on this moment. We miss out on what tomorrow may bring. So I think this Five of Cups for you, Sagittarius, is really about shifting into the now and to the next, not what has been. So hopefully that helps you out. But there might be a little bit of, it could be just mourning or release or something that needs to be let go of. And we can see this person is more than 3/4 the way through it. It's kind of like knees down is in the water. And usually water represents heavy emotions in tarot. So you're like 3/4 of the way out. So there's just a little bit of a nudge this month. Let's compare it with the traditional one, and then we'll move on to the second card. Sometimes when you get what you want, it's not what you want. That's actually what I got directly when I looked at this Rider-Waite-Smith card. So in addition to nostalgia, there's something in your life that could be anticlimactic or even a disappointment. And what I'm getting here is less mourning and more disappointing. But guess what? There's something even better here waiting. This was just to kind of show you, all right, we did that. You tried that. This was the outcome. You can now release that and allow for something or someone better. But I'm really just getting disappointment. And that has a way of fading when you open yourself up to new experiences. So this month, if you can allow yourself to try new things, see things from a different perspective, you might be surprised and eventually even appreciative that something didn't sort of land the way you wanted to, because you could have gotten stuck in that place, whether it was a physical place or relationship or work experience. There was something there where the disappointment or the disillusionment helped you look again towards the now and the next. And lo and behold, right on top of that Five of Cups, we have the Ace of Cups. And this represents a dream coming true, some good news, your heart starting to open up. Look at all the beautiful butterflies coming out of that cup. This is also the change, the growth, the renewal that Isis can bring forth as well. So believing that the best is yet to come. That's also one of the mantras this month. Living in the now and the next, and knowing that the best is yet to come. Beautiful energies right off the bat. And here's the thing, though. The challenge and the opportunity this month is to open your heart. So those 3 cups sometimes can kind of weigh us down here, because that is the heaviness, the disappointment, the disillusionment. But there's something better here. Again, friendship, partnership, love, opportunity, your dreams, your energy wanting to kind of awaken. And that's what this is. So new love, new ideas, new opportunity, simply representing also the heart on a rebound, if you will. So I like this, and we'll come back to it as necessary. Let's now take a look at the deep past. So we have two aces back to back. This is the emotion, and this is the action. So I love that this Ace of Swords has both a lock and a key. So the key right here also connected to like the Hierophant. So one of the things that you want to do is get organized in how to map out, plan, or take the next step in whatever it is you're trying to do. And then the thing that could be holding you back, the place that I see the sluggishness is in the mind here. So we have this beautiful shell, a little keyhole right there. And so I feel like you've done the thinking. You've actually probably done enough thinking on something. Now it's time to take the key and create some action, because this is more action oriented. So trust your heart, that's this, and then follow through with action. And don't even give it a second thought, because I feel like you're there already, and that's why this card was in the upright. All right, now we have a few reversals. Let's talk about it. In the recent past, we have Three of Wands reversed. If we look at this closely, what I really love about this illustration is she's holding the ship in her hands. She hasn't waited passively like we see in this traditional illustration for the ship to come in. She said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to grab that. And she's also representing that the early bird gets the worm. So if there's something that you want to do it. And when that initial download comes through, just like Isis is reminding us, don't overthink, and the cat that I saw in my dream, do it now. And also, don't be afraid to reach in a direction that no one else has before. The traditional card is a little passive and a little focused for my liking, like he's only looking in one direction. I love that she's almost like a skyscraper here. She can see 360. And I think that's going to be really important for you, is to be able to see in all directions and dimensions and pick the one that fits for you. Because by doing that, you might find something that is going to be easier, more efficient, and more impactful. Maybe something that is more innovative. No one's done it because you're the one that's looking there. So early bird gets the worm, look in all directions, and don't be afraid to try something completely out of the box. That's something that stands out. So I really, really love what we see here. There could be some frustration. You're like, why isn't it happening? Now I kind of gave you a way to pivot and understand, well, maybe it can happen. I just need to change the parameters a bit. So be open-minded, and you can make this happen sooner rather than later. In the crowning position, we have Five of Pentacles in reverse. I kind of like that they've put a cage around the heart, because this is what happens sometimes with Five of Pentacles. Something in the past hurts. It burns. It creates a little bit of a scar. And we carry that with us longer than we need to. Someone rejected you. Something didn't work out the way you wanted. That disillusionment wasn't meant to stick. It was meant to kind of help you move on. Self-worth and healing are definitely a part of this. Both of the fives that you got, the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. This is usually a wound from the past, but look at what she's holding on to, this inner rose that wants to bloom again. As we can see in the traditional illustration, a lot of times it could be a parent, a peer, a teacher, someone that you trusted or needed to be there that wasn't. They just weren't ready. It isn't a representation of your value or your worth. Now, this month, there's a couple of things you want to be mindful of since this card was reversed. In any sort of business dealings, don't sell yourself short, because this is in the crowning position representing your power and your thoughts. So think in a way that, and speak as well in a way that puts value out there so people can see and appreciate and reciprocate the value that you bring to the equation. Don't sacrifice your health to kind of like impress someone or to work too hard, because without that foundation, it's a house of cards and everything's going to kind of crumble. So you must get adequate sleep, exercise, rest, etc. Take care of yourself, especially when it comes to your feet, your ankles. This particular card is connected with that. All right. And interesting that we're talking about the foot, because everything that we've talked about so far is leading you to this. Now we have the near future, which is taking the first step, the Fool. So for some of you, it's a little scary. We see like the alligator or crocodile beneath her. You might be worried about the unknown. What's the next step? The Fool, the traditional illustration, is just really embodying the ability to take the first step and not carry with you too many fears, too many expectations, too much. And so I think one thing that you could do this month is Really kind of practice some breathing exercises and let it all go. And then think to yourself, all I have to do today is take this one small step. It could just be as simple as writing something down, calling somebody, literally, walking towards an office and seeing if you can get an appointment or whatever. But whether it's a figurative first step or a literal first step, notice in the traditional illustration how all he has is this tiny little knapsack. He's not carrying much with him. He also has a white flower, very reminiscent of what you would see in the death card. So he's saying, it's a new start. I've learned from the past. I'm letting it go, and I'm just going to take the initial step today. All right, we have the Emperor coming through representing you. This represents, of course, power, authority. Also, more importantly, and this is what I think you want to focus on, is accountability. And keeping yourself accountable, holding others to the same energy. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. And don't be afraid to just kind of like speak up, take action. What I'm getting here is kind of like something snapping into place. And it feels like your thoughts, your energy, the possibility is right out here, but the body needs to just kind of catch up with where you're projecting yourself. So yeah, I feel like just move into it, lean into the possibility here. And as you start to take a couple of steps, it's almost like momentum is going to take you to the next important thing. And I think that's why in the environment there's so much energy. So let's talk about these two cards that came through. We have Strength and Justice. I mentioned this month in particular, you can't put your physical body, you can't push it to the point of no return. You need it in order to follow through on all of these goals and dreams, to be the leader that this card says you can be this month. So take care of your mind, body, and spirit. This is also one of the most powerful cards when it comes to negotiation. If there's something that you want, you can get it. If there's someone annoying you, you can push them back and say, no thanks. You can create stronger boundaries this month. Is it easy? No, but with the Strength card, you can make it happen. She's tamed the beast. I always do remind people that with this, there are diminishing returns. So once you've gotten through the hurdle, and there might be one hurdle, then you can ask yourself, is this something I want to continue to put my time and energy into, or might this be where I pivot? Maybe you're just awakened to your own power and strength, which is good. Now, here's the thing that could be holding it back. For some of you, it could just be legal. So this is an important time if you are doing something new to get the legal groundwork done. If it's a contract, you get a lawyer. If there's something that you don't understand, you ask a lawyer. And even when we're looking at things like finances, you could work with an accountant because the law is touching multiple things. So get the advice, make sure it's sound. This also represents you weighing a decision, and we see Lady Justice with her head in the clouds here. So it is important to eventually realize that you've given it ample thought. We see that in the deep past. And we always want more time to research everything, but it feels like there's going to be a moment where you just have to say, let's do this. Now, in your environment, there could be a Leo and there could be a Libra that you could work with. These are both upright. They look fantastic. So I would say, yes, this is a great time for teamwork. These are also the pressures on you. There could be legal pressures, timelines, deadlines, promises that need to be kept. And one of the things in your life that could be kind of creating some challenges could be your own physical health. There could be someone that is really bossy or pushy. The Strength card as a boss has its merits, but one thing that I would say is they typically, it's like their way or their highway. So you'll have to pick and choose battles wisely. And if you're going to battle the Strength card, you're going to come through with something that's infallible, something that's indelible, a contract. It's ironclad. And then they'll acquiesce. But you have to really do your homework in order to be able to overcome that. So if you need to, fight for something, you can do it this month, but show up ready for that conversation because they certainly are ready as well. Trying to get everything in view here. Okay, let's look at what's going on here in hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. Slow down. Read the fine print. Literally, her dress is made of like newspaper or a contract. And what's she doing? She's erasing something. She's revising something. The reversal of the Knight of Swords represents that. Let's go back and revisit. Let's review. Let's ask someone else. Get an outside perspective. Edit as necessary. slow down for a moment. Now let's take it outside of like business. This is just saying life is finite. Every day is fantastic and important. It may not feel fantastic as you're going through it, but let's say this, there is something in your life that's worth slowing down and appreciating. Apollo reminds me of that every day. If you have a pet, if you have a child, you know that especially they both grow and age a lot faster. Children from like, birth to 18, look at how much they change. Dogs, same thing. There's a lot of shifting. Then as adults, maybe from 20 to 50, there's not as much. It happens again after your 50s or 60s, then aging starts to catch up again. But when we're stuck in the middle, sometimes we forget, hey, this moment's really powerful. And who knows how many I have. So slow down and enjoy today. So I'll give you a live example. Take a moment to say, I love you to someone. I love you, buddy. In my life review, that's not something that I will regret. Every chance I get, I take a moment to say hello to that little guy. He brings a lot of love and a lot of joy. So sometimes I have to break and take him for a walk or feed him, and that's okay. It takes me out of my own head. So do something that gets you out of your routine, especially if it's with a child, a pet, a love interest in your life, a friend, whatever it might be. That is so important. And then have some fun too, okay? This card is also about communication, and with the Knight of Swords in reverse, slow down the communication. Sometimes we speak over someone else. You can't hear everything else they have to say. Sometimes we wish we could what? Erase what we've said, but we can't. So make it count, the first communication that you have, or any communication that you have. Slow it down and make sure that you are researched and ready for the next conversation, because I do feel like the spotlight is going to shine on you. In the outcome, we have the star. The star is reversed. That's okay. It's one of the most positive and powerful cards here. It represents a connection to source, and whenever the card is reversed, the message from Spirit is go bigger, go brighter. Don't dim yourself. Don't dim your light. Don't allow someone else to shut down your voice, your vision, your power. After all, we're going back to this, and it's saying reclaim your magic, reclaim your power. And what does she have but a big solar disk on her head? And what is a star? What is our sun but the star? So it's all one and the same. It's really about connecting and getting back to your power, knowing that each and every one of us has our own connection to divinity that is no greater or less than anyone else. It's just your chance to lean into it and trust and feel the power. As a kid, one of my favorite cartoons was He-Man. I like She-Ra too. But basically, He-Man would say, I've got the power. And sometimes we have to remember that we have the power and the capacity. And you do have the power this month with the Emperor energy. All right, let's go ahead and expand this forecast a little bit. We're going to look at these major categories: health, wealth, love, and destiny. I always start off with health, which is your mind, your body, and your spirit. So here we have dragonfly energy coming through. It says change. The dragonfly is reversed, but guess what? Dragonflies are like one of the most amazing flying insects. They can go up, down. If you've ever watched them, they're very capable of turning on a dime, making changes very fast. So you can land on your feet. You can flip things around. All the reversals right now are really reminding you to look at things from different perspectives. As a reader, I don't mind reversals. I know it drives some people nuts, but for me, it's just showing where the hesitation is. So here, some of you don't want to change. But guess what? We see death and expansion and new beginnings and change all throughout this spread. So whether you like it or not, it's still coming through. Why not lean into it, okay? Speaking it from a health perspective, some of you need to change up your routine. Something might have grown stagnant. So for those of you that enjoy working out and exercising, maybe you're even a bodybuilder or something like that, you know that you alternate the days that you work on different parts of the body, different muscles, because those parts of the body need rest, and also you want to change how you're working. And sometimes what you've been doing doesn't work, so you also will mix it up. You mix up different ways of sort of pushing the body. Our brain needs a similar sort of shake-up sometimes. If we're constantly watching to the same things, listening to the same things, doing the same things, we don't grow. So a little bit of change can help. And in your exercise and your health, Maybe the diet has sort of stagnated. Maybe the exercise has. Maybe the environment is uninspiring. Make a positive change. Looking at all the cards here, I mentioned Five of Pentacles can have to do with your feet, your ankles, an old injury there. Make sure that you're careful when you're walking, not looking at your phone. You can trip sometimes. This is avoidable. I'm just seeing that you might not be paying attention to where you're walking or what you're doing, so be mindful of that. The Fool represents just getting out and taking gentle walks. You don't have to actually stress your body that much. If you want to do something chair-based, it's also just gentle movements. Swimming, anything of that nature. I mentioned, lifting weights and everything, but this is the easiest of movements because really the body just needs everything to be stretched and moved from time to time. This could just be getting up from your desk if you've been working too long. Set an alarm on your watch or your computer, every hour to take a deep breath, stretch, and you'll be happy that you did that. I'm also seeing that for some of you, you're stuck or fixated on one thing. So if you can talk to someone, I think that could be really advantageous in kind of getting that cleared out. Work-life balance is also coming through, but overall, the spread is fairly manageable. There might have been a wake-up call because we have Isis, because we have the change card here, and a new beginning, but this looks a little bit more subtle. It could have to do, again, with just general circulation, especially in the feet or the legs. So I just get that it's time to move a little bit more, okay? All right, let's move on to the next category. We're gonna look at wealth, which is your resources, your life purpose, and your career. And we have a lovely card coming through on this one. It says, count your blessings. Thank the universe and the angels for the blessings in your life. So this is a really great sort of exercise no matter what, because it helps you with this card that was crossing everything in the center, the Ace of Cups, which is basically your heart. So when you express gratitude, you show the universe that you care, you show that you're ready to receive, it opens up new channels, and it helps raise your frequency. In a business, this is really powerful because you could be showing customer appreciation. So you could say thank you so much, for all you've done, and maybe you offer an incentive to your most valued customers. At work, the gratitude could be recognition, an award, a raise, a promotion. In everyday life, it's just thanks for being here. Like the old Golden Girls song, thank you for being a friend. Gratitude hits every category, every part of your life. I love you, thank you, you're amazing, job well done. However you want to express it. Also, as we see someone here, it's a gratitude journal. Thanking the universe, like thank you for the tenacity to get through this. Thank you for this special skill that I have. I'm going to really do something with it. Okay. You can start very basic too, just like thanks for the breath in my lungs, the food on my table, the love in my life. Basic things like that are a great way to begin. All right, let's break this down into 5 subcategories because we're looking at all facets of wealth. And let's see how it all shakes out for you. All right, we'll look at those of you that are currently in a job, then those that own their own company. Then we're going to move on to job seekers. Then we're going to look at students. And finally, retirees. For those of you that have a job, the world reverse represents a changing in the landscape. It could simply be that you just leveled up. You might have just gotten a promotion. There might be a new boss in. The way that you used to work has to shift around. Obviously, the world has been changing this year quite radically and quite rapidly, so different ways of producing, of delivering might be necessary. You may be asked to move. Whatever we're looking at, there's growth potential, but flexibility is key. That's why the little cat came through initially. You can land on your feet. It's a little bit of a challenge. Look that challenge straight in the eye like we see this cat with its beautiful green eyes, and you'll be able to navigate this. But take a deep breath. Take a moment. One thing that I really liked about the Three of Wands earlier was that she had that bird's eye perspective, and she's looking at it from all angles and all directions. And I think that could be something that could help you out this month quite a bit. So growth is possible, but change is necessary. So the only way through this is basically embracing that, okay? Let's look at all the cards and see what else is going on. Travel or moving, as we talked about, because these both have to do with travel and moving. a chance to be in the spotlight. Someone may actually throw an opportunity your way and say, hey, I think you're great for this. Now, even if you have some hesitation, remember, you're showing up as ready, at least in the cards here. So lean into it. Give it a shot. Brighten yourself. Don't dim your light. If you have a question, ask. And I think just go slowly. Take it one step at a time, any change that's in front of you. Some of the challenges for those that are currently employed could be either your finances or your health. And if you are working to the point of exhaustion, speak up. You are worth more. You have a chance, especially with strength and justice here, to get what you need. But stick to the data. Make sure those points can kind of help you when it comes to a pushy boss or someone that maybe not as sort of, what's the best word, generous as they should be. So you're going to have to lead with that generosity and with that sort of gratitude. And so you start with that. Thank you so much for this amazing experience. I've learned so much. I think I've really performed well in this, and this. I'm ready for this challenge. How can we make it happen? Or I'm really needing a little bit more help with this. What can we do? So start with gratitude and then state the challenge, the desire, whatever it is. And I feel like you can make it work. Okay? If you own your own company and you're an entrepreneur, the Two of Swords in reverse actually is pretty auspicious. It represents a new idea coming forth, but it's out of the box. In this case, maybe out of the birdhouse. So this represents a block around her. And what's interesting is the two birds up there could be people around her that are saying it needs to be done this way. And she's thinking, but what about this? I really want you to go for that leap of faith idea that you have. Also, you may still be vacillating a little bit and wondering, can I do it? Am I in or am I out? Because justice is weighing the options. The Fool in reverse basically is hesitating on taking the first step. This card is reminding you to trust your vision. One of the more challenging aspects this month may be simply stepping into the boss role a little bit more. So we have Isis reclaiming power. We have the Emperor sitting in that position of power. What we also see is someone that may have overstepped or overreached. So you're coming in and you're balancing things out. There's a good way to do it. Again, you could start with the gratitude because we see it here saying, thank you. Thank you so much for your help on this. And with this area, I think we're good. Now I'd like you to focus on that. So setting goals, setting expectations, putting a line in the sand if someone is crossing something, and just making sure that expectations are clear. And also whatever it is that constitutes like success or growth, that's also there. All of the goals and all of the boundaries are clearly put out there. Again, because ostensibly you might have employees or clients or people that you're working with. Another challenge is the price point. It feels like for many of you, it's a break-even sort of month. We need to look at where you can either work more efficiently or maybe there might be a need to increase prices. There also might be some things that you need to cut because we're seeing the eraser here. Ultimately, with the star card in the outcome, it looks like you can land on your feet, and that is one of the common themes of this month. But you're going to have to possibly step more into the spotlight and, again, do something that's bolder, that's different, that's kind of breaking the mold a little bit. And sometimes that can make you feel a little uncertain, but it does feel like it's the right time for that. Again, I mentioned customer appreciation, anything from a shout out on socials to a special coupon code or whatever, however you want to say thank you to the people that help you the most, your employees, your customers, your clientele. This is the time to do it. For job seekers, we have 9 of Wands energy. It's coming through reverse. This is basically showing some of you are a little worse for the wear. You're like, I'm ready, Nicholas. When is this happening? If we zoom in on that person, you can see that they've been through it a few times. This is perseverance personified. In this one, we can see all the stitches on the dress, ostensibly where all the prickles or the thorns have kind of, created that little ripple. So I feel like there's been a lot of rejections. There's been even sort of some internal dialogue that we have to kind of release and think, all right, this is a clean slate. We have good cards this particular month here with the 3 of Wands. This is a now card, so if you're looking, you can find it. But like I said, direction matters. So making sure that you're looking in different industries, different geographical locations, and making sure, we talked about the early bird getting the worm, that you're like the first one out of the gate. So if there's any sort of people that do seasonal work, making sure that before you even get to that season, you're looking. We want to start booking projects 2 or 3 times ahead if you do like freelance work, etc. I love that the star card is here. I definitely see competition, but you're also coming through as great competition. So what this represents is leadership, and this is insight. And we talked a little bit about out-of-the-box thinking with another of the categories that also works for you, because Isis is overthinking here a little bit. So on an interview, or however you're sort of describing yourself, bold strokes. You don't need to go into too much detail. Keep it clear, concise, and bold, and that will help you. You may need to travel a little bit for work. You may also need to go back and retrace some of your old applications. There might be something where initially someone had hired a role and it closed, but maybe that fell through and you might see something open up again. So go back in your bookmarks or go back through the trail and make sure that there isn't something in one of your favorites, like if it's a company or a workplace, they might have opened up a new role. So revisit that. Be bold and bossy when it comes to the negotiation, not to the point that you're off-putting, but really kind of what I'm saying here is say, I've done my research, this is the industry standard rate. Really kind of focus on making sure that you're getting what you deserve. I think that there may not be a lot of wiggle room here, but you can probably get this up a little bit. So it's worth asking a question. And if not the rate, then get the title, get something so that it feels right to you, because this represents not enough. The one thing that I see here is that there might be a role where you feel like you're reaching too far. Don't think that way. It's time for you to take that step up, because the Emperor, the Strength card, the Justice card, the Star, they all represent like leveling up. So if you're not seeing your current title, go a little higher, or try something that's a little bit of a diagonal from your field, bringing all of your skills together. It's not the obvious choice this month. You have to kind of look in different directions and dimensions, I wanted to say, but different directions and different locations. And that's why this is that bird's eye view. So if you're willing to move or if you're willing to travel, it opens up more opportunities. For students, we have the Sun card. This is fantastic. This basically represents your ability to really create something amazing. This is one of the baby cards in tarot, so birthing, creation, nurturing, all part of this. Looking at the cards here, let's see what else you might want to be paying attention to. So the Fool can represent having to take a step back, maybe fix something. There might be a project that you're working on where you missed something, or a paper that requires revision. That could feel a little frustrating, but most of the progress here is pretty good. Some of you might have some external things that are getting in the way of focusing. So maybe there's something going on in your family or around you, and it's like, I can't concentrate. So take care of yourself, get the support you need so that you can, again, lean into all of the positive energy that I see here. You may be looking at transferring or traveling abroad. If you want to transfer, just do the work, do the research, and make sure that you've got everything ready for that. I'm always a big fan of traveling abroad. I think that it widens your perspective when it comes to the world in general. The Star card here is the most important for students, though, because it's reversed. So if I could go back and talk to a younger version of myself, I would have said go more for the creative path. I did a practical degree like in journalism and PR and English and all of that. And it helped, and it helps to this day. But one thing that I probably would have done differently is just taken more creative writing classes, because that ended up being my passion as I got older. So there was a part of me that was influenced by parents and teachers that I had to do something that was more practical, that could be more applied. If you're a creator and a creative person at heart, go for the path where your heart is open and connected. Likewise, if your parents want you to do an artistic thing and you're more of a scientist or mathematician, wherever the heart is, go where the heart is. And that's important. Please do pay attention to the finances. To this day, I'm actually going to pay it off this year, but it took a ridiculous amount of time to pay off my student loans. So make sure that you understand what you're getting into. And again, just the general health comment on that. All right, retirees, reinvention. Judgment comes through at various points in our life. Graduation is one of them. Retirement is another one of them. And in this moment, it's saying, if not now, then when? In any of your goals or dreams, if there's something that you've really been wanting to do, without a shadow of a doubt, now is the time. We already got that with this, like reclaiming your power, reclaiming your magic. We already got it with this, which is saying now. And so focusing on the now and the next, this next chapter can be really exciting. What's opening up for you is something that is really bold and different. Maybe taking a risk, doing something that you've never tried before. Fighting for justice, fighting for equality. Maybe some of you are trying to make it better for the next generation. Please, we need more people like that. That's great. Teaching and mentorship coming through as well. But I actually get like travel, and for many of you, something super creative and unusual. And it's like you're taking off the mask and revealing the true version of yourself, which is really exciting. So go for it, without a doubt. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. The oracle card here is significant. We have Hades. Hades can represent past life love. So if you're just meeting someone new or you're already in a relationship, you've lived and loved before. And this time around, there's karma, and we'll look at that. If you're pulling someone new in again, it's something that could also change your life in such a significant way that it surprises you. Some of you may be on a rebound, on a breakup. Maybe you've actually lost someone, or it's a figurative loss, like, again, divorce. So let's break it down. We're going to look at 3 major subcategories, and then I'll intersperse some of the cards here as needed. So we'll start off with those that are presently in a relationship, and then we'll look at those that are seeking love. Finally, those who are single and happy. All right, starting off with those that are in a relationship. Fantastic. We have the Knight of Cups here. What's really interesting is there may be someone in your life that really just knows how to make your heart skip a beat. They may also know how to get you to do something. So they know you so well that they can manipulate the heart, but they could also just be the one that inspires you. It can cut both ways with this card. There may also just be a bit of age or experience gap. It doesn't seem to be an issue here. Just remember, it takes 2 to tango. So I'm looking at this person with the heart. Make sure that you're both, it feels like you are both putting your heart into this. So I like what I see with this. It's more equal than you may imagine, even if there is some sort of a gap, because I strongly believe that like attracts like. So just see what it is that this person might be teaching. So we have past life energy. Let's look at the karma of it. This could be someone that helps you ask questions about yourself, about the world. They don't let you sort of get away with just, kind of going on autopilot. This is someone who really gets you on a sort of deeper level. Another karmic energy that's coming through is abandonment. It's not present in this spread, but it's present in the karma. And so this time around, I feel like they have your back. This time around, it feels different. So one thing that you can remind yourself is, whether it's your past relationship or the past life with this person, let it be in the past. Really live in the now and the next. And what I see in the now and the next is pretty good. A potential move, a really equal partnership. Strength and justice are very good partners. They're both strong-willed. They both have a clear way of doing things, but they're a good partnership. Communication can sometimes be a little sharp. Listening could be improved. And it does feel like one of you is ready to kind of like have this great shining moment. Remember that if it's you, your partner should be able to celebrate that. If it's them, you should also be able to celebrate it, just like we saw with that Count Your Blessings card. So be their wingman, be their champion, and know that in the long run, they'll be there to help you too to get to the next level, okay? That's what I get with that. It's pretty good, actually, for existing partnerships. There could be a little bit of sickness or some financial challenges. That's the only thing that we'll kind of put as a caveat there, because this can represent that. And again, maybe a loss or a death in the family that could be bringing you hopefully closer together, as long as communication stays open. All right, if you're looking for love, really focus on time. Like, do you have enough time to put into this? Your finances, and not overextending yourself, because as much as it might be nice to jump into a relationship, this represents someone who is kind of stretched to the max. So make sure that you are giving every part of your life enough room to grow, like we see here. And if not, do the necessary clearing and cleaning, because she's got the rake down there. You could have 2 people coming in. So be discerning and be clear on what it is that you want. We have a Leo, we have a Libra. We also have, like I said, someone that's really experienced and very wise. So I feel like there's just a heavy, strong energy that when this person comes in, they could sweep you off your feet a little bit. That's why everything needs to be balanced. And that's also why we got like literally justice or balance coming through, saying make sure that you've got enough time in your schedule. Ultimately, with the star card, I like this because this is potentially what you were looking for, but there could be self-doubt that gets in the way. So remember, if that person is interested in you, you are worthy, okay? I'll just leave it with that. But your schedule may need to be cleared up a little bit so you're not so busy. All right, focusing now on single and happy. I love this because you're basically saying, I don't have to prove myself to anyone. I don't have to jump through hoops anymore, so don't. A Knight of Wands is typically about forward momentum and forward movement when it comes to ideas and dreams. A reversal on this could be revisiting a dream that, like we've talked about earlier, hasn't come to fruition, or you could be deciding to check out a different way of thinking. So we're just getting someone pausing, exploring, and then deciding before taking the next leap of faith. I love this. This could be like doing something with respect to art or performance. This could be launching a business. This could also be, there's a lot of cards here with like writing, whether it's contracts or creative writing. There's some really cool energies here that are fun, entrepreneurial, and I think this is a great time for that. All right, now let's go into the energy of destiny. So we have, the world is blessed to have you. Don't underestimate yourself. I think that's one of the big takeaways with the top tier cards here. So we have a card that shows less than, and then we have a card that is the ultimate in value and worth. So you're not less than. You are absolutely able to accomplish this goal, this dream, and the world is lucky to have you. Reach for all the stars. See how far you can go. Let the universe put the limit on you. Don't put it on yourself, okay? Let's look at one final question. This is your chance to ask anything that you still need some clarity on. Let me go ahead, give the cards a shuffle, and we'll see what Spirit has to say. You can do it. Might take a little bit of work, but you can do it. So in a yes or no, this is yes, but you have to do the work. This is actually a card that comes right after Six of Wands, which is success. So sometimes with success comes scrutiny, and so you want to take everything with a grain of salt. This is also about working smarter, not necessarily just working harder, and better boundaries in your life. A firm no without an apology is fine. You don't even have to say no thanks. Just say no. I appreciate it, but no. You can do it that way. But as you start to get stronger, as you start to push back, have these boundaries and limits, you're going to be able to take on more. You're going to be able to shine. People are going to respect you and see what I already see here, which is the Emperor quality. Okay? That, my friends, brings this reading to a close. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. If you're brand new, subscribe. This way you'll never miss out on a future video. If you're a longtime viewer, please hit the thumbs up and leave a message. Let me know what resonates, what you're going through, what your star moment or what your transformation moment might be. You can also give me a follow across social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. I'm on emerging platforms like Blue Sky, and my username is nicholasashbaugh.com. You can also go to my website, nicholasashbaugh.com, for more news and info. If you would like to show a little bit of extra support, a great way to do so is through memberships. I'm starting to do more members-only videos, so thank you in advance if you'd like to do that. Super likes, super stickers, super chats also are really great ways to give back. I can see them in real time as well, so I just want to say thanks. Without your support, none of this would be possible. And to that end, here's my own gratitude. Thanks for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I wouldn't be here without your love and support, and I appreciate every minute of it. So thank you very much. I'll see you again for the next round of videos. Make sure to check out the main channel page, by the way, for my podcast, for the daily, weekly, and monthly videos, and all the other videos in between. Take care.